Welcome to the Night Shadows channel. Get ready to dive into a new horror story. Put on your headphones, turn off the lights, and let your mind wander through the darkest corners of imagination. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily stories. Now, take a deep breath and step into the story, if you dare. The Echoes of Betrayal. As Clara and Sophia emerged from the cavern, the bright daylight felt foreign, almost blinding after the suffocating darkness they had just left behind. The air outside was thick with the scent of damp earth and wildflowers, yet Clara couldn't shake the unsettling feeling that something had shifted. A darkness had been vanquished, but the world outside seemed charged with an ominous energy, like a storm brewing on the horizon. "Do you feel that?" Clara asked, glancing at Sophia, who squinted against the sunlight. "Yes," Sophia replied, her voice laced with concern. "It's like the air is heavy, charged. What if that wasn't the only darkness lurking out here?" Clara nodded, unease settling in her stomach. The battle they had fought in the cavern had not just been against the embodiment of her past. It felt like a mere precursor to something far more insidious. The bond they had forged in the depths had empowered them, but it had also awakened something else, a vulnerability that now felt exposed to the world. They started walking toward the village, their footsteps echoing in the silence of the forest. The usual sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves seemed muted, as if nature itself held its breath in anticipation. Clara's mind raced with possibilities. What if the darkness they had faced was just a distraction? What if there was something more, something that had been waiting for them to emerge? As they approached the edge of the woods, Clara noticed a figure standing near the village entrance. It was a man, his silhouette sharp against the backdrop of the village square. A sense of dread washed over her as recognition dawned. It was Marcus, a childhood friend whose betrayal had haunted her for years. He had been part of her life once, but after a disastrous fallout, their paths had diverged, leaving behind scars that Clara had thought had healed. "Why is he here?" Clara whispered, her voice trembling with a mix of anxiety and anger. Sophia tightened her grip on Clara's arm. "I don't know, but we need to be careful." Marcus turned, catching sight of them, a slow smile creeping across his face. It was disarming, yet it held a sinister edge that sent chills down Clara's spine. "Clara? Sophia? You're back." His tone was deceptively cheerful, but his eyes glinted with an unsettling darkness. "What do you want, Marcus?" Clara demanded, stepping forward despite the unease gripping her. He raised his hands in mock surrender. "Easy now, I'm not here to cause trouble. I heard you both went on quite the adventure. People are talking about it." "People always talk," Clara shot back, keeping her tone steady. "But we're not interested in anything you have to say." But that's where you're wrong," he said, his smile widening. "You see, I have information that could change everything." Clara narrowed her eyes, suspicion flooding her mind. "What kind of information?" "Let's just say," he leaned closer, lowering his voice as if sharing a secret, "the darkness you faced in the cavern? It was just a manifestation of your fears. But there are deeper currents at play, Clara. Dark forces are gathering, and you've only scratched the surface." Sophia stepped forward, her protective instincts flaring. "Why should we trust you? You've betrayed Clara before. What's to stop you from doing it again?" Marcus shrugged, a flicker of irritation passing across his face. "Trust is a fragile thing, isn't it? But you'll need me if you want to understand what's really happening. The shadows are rising again, and if you're not careful, They'll consume everything you hold dear. Clara felt a shiver run down her spine. The mention of shadows stirred something deep within her, a warning, an instinct that had been honed through her journey. She glanced at Sophia, who seemed equally on edge. "What do you know, Marcus?" He hesitated, gauging their reactions before continuing. "There are ancient powers at play here, forces that feed on fear and despair. When you confronted your past, you unknowingly disrupted their plans. They've taken notice, and now they're seeking to reclaim their hold." Clara's heart raced. She had felt something during their confrontation in the cavern, a shift in the balance of power. The darkness had fought fiercely, as if it had something to protect. "And you're here to help us?" Sophia interjected. "And why would you want to help us? What's in it for you?" Marcus' smile faltered, replaced by a flicker of something more sinister. "Let's just say I have my own reasons for wanting to see this darkness eradicated. I may have made mistakes in the past, but I'm not your enemy. Not now." Clara felt a mix of anger and confusion swirling inside her. The past with Marcus had left her scarred, and trusting him again felt like an impossible task. Yet, if there was any truth to what he was saying, they couldn't afford to ignore it. "Fine," she said, her voice steady. "But if you try anything—" "I know," he interrupted, holding up his hands defensively. "You'll be ready to take me down. Let's just focus on the real enemy for now." As they exchanged wary glances, the tension thickened in the air. Clara felt a surge of determination mixed with dread. The shadows were not just lurking at the edges of their lives. They were moving closer, weaving into the very fabric of the village. "Where do we start?" Clara asked, trying to mask the trepidation in her voice. "There's an old well on the outskirts of the village," Marcus replied, his expression turning serious. "It's said to be a gateway, an entry point to the darkness that seeks to reclaim its power. If we want to understand what we're up against, we need to explore it." Sophia exchanged a glance with Clara, silently weighing the decision. Finally, Clara nodded, resolve setting in. "Let's do this. But know this, Marcus, one misstep, and you'll find yourself on the receiving end of our wrath." As they turned to head toward the well, Clara's heart raced with a mix of anticipation and fear. The echoes of betrayal lingered in her mind, but beneath the weight of uncertainty lay a flicker of hope. If Marcus was right, confronting this new darkness could be their only chance to forge a future unbound by the chains of their pasts. Together, they moved toward the well, unaware of the shadows that lurked in the depths, waiting to ensnare them once more. The air crackled with tension, and as they drew closer to the well, Clara knew that the battle was far from over. This was just the beginning, and the echoes of betrayal would soon resurface, forcing them to confront not only the darkness outside but also the darkness within.